only got half my face in here, trying to sit comfortably today. There we go. That works. Thanks, Loom. Yes. I know you couldn't help it. It's okay. Trying to get like a healthy balance between boobs and reclining. Oh shit. Here comes Stream Kitty to ruin the day again. No, sir. Not today, Satan. Not today. All right. So, welcome in. Hello, everyone. I am Muse, and we are playing. Oh shit! Gotta get the recliner going. We are playing Vampire the Masquerade Coteries of New York, and we are following our character Muse, who is a newly made baby Ventru, and right now she's in kind of a pickle. She has been taken under the wing of the delightfully beautiful Toreador Sophie. Um, and looks like right now everything is a-okay. Sophie gave her this apartment, saved her from imminent death, and, is doing some explaining that no one else was really interested in doing at the time. So, I apologize if you were here last night and got to see some of this, and infamous Stream Kitty, who is trying to make a bed on my lap, pressed all of the buttons and we made a bad choice. So, we are doing it again. Alright, A. What the fuck button is A? Alright, that's X, apparently, his choice button. So, we're playing with a controller today because I would like to recline. We wake up. The room is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally, I'd stretch for a bit. On some mornings, I'd probably throw the quilt over myself and snooze for maybe a moment longer. But that was before. The way I wake up now, I'm fully conscious. No grogginess, nothing weighing me down. Just the nagging need in the back of my head. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. I get up and open the door to the main room. A digital clock on the TV shows me the time, 9:04 p.m. I walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is from New York City's artificial nighttime luminescence. So, that's what my waking hours are going to look like now. I miss the sunlight already. I'm seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this all out by myself. But then I come back to the memory of Kadir's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. Maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. I keep jumping channels for around a half an hour and then I switch to streaming services. Almost as if the universe has a sense of irony, I catch True Blood in the flood of recommendations. The doorbell rings. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're having a very good Saturday evening. Sorry if I'm a little nasally or scratchy tonight. Hello, welcome back. All right, I imagine you probably missed my little recap, so I'll do it again for you. We are on night 2 of Muse's Unlife, and she is a little baby Ventru, and she was saved from almost imminent death by her new patron, Sophie, who is a Toreador. And Sophie exchanged eternal fealty for showing me the ropes and saving me from death. So tonight we're going to go out with Sophie and learn a little bit more about what unlife is like. It's Sophie. Good evening, Muse. Slept well? Got some choices already? Choices are like a baby, like a dead man, and it's not exactly sleep, right? Which seems like the most astute choice. She seems to like astute. It's not really like normal sleep, is it? I question. I suppose it isn't, she says. Some say it's more like being dead, but we wouldn't know, would we? It's no use reflecting on it anyway, except that this is who you are now. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself, your blood, its desires, its power. We will begin tonight. You are hungry, yes? I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There is only one remedy, the blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way you slake your thirst. So tonight I will assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn to sense the kind of blood you desire, to understand how you can use the kind's vulnerabilities to your advantage. So, choices are, I'm ready to learn. No more freebies? Predator and prey, huh? Grim. Alright, I'm gonna take a drink. Any thoughts from the chat on what I should choose? I will also show you. Oh, he's like a black void. You can't even see him that good. This is Illidan. Illidan, Storm Rage, Gremlin Face. Dark Lord of all. There you go. There's his little kitty face. Try not to break the camera while we're at it. Ah! That's why I shouldn't touchy. Alright, I'm ready to learn. Well, I'm ready to learn, I say. Let's get started. Such eagerness. Or is it just the hunger making you impatient? She asks. You will find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast at bay. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is a balance to be found here. The kiss gives the kind pleasure. Thank you for the host, Luminator. Aw, thanks, Sour Dave. I appreciate the lurk and hanging out in my stream and my chat. Oh, thank you so much for the host. Y'all are so sweet. Kisses from the recliner. Sophie goes on to say, you might remember this pleasure from your own embrace. Some can even become addicted to the sensation, but if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. After all, vampires do not exist. They're myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays. Correct? She says with a little smile. A sly, knowing smile. That is why the masquerade is so important, and even more crucial when you feed. All right. How do you avoid being seen? How do you cover your tracks? How do you select a victim? Okay, so before Stream Kitty decided that we were going to make bad decisions, I chose how do you select a victim. She didn't really give me a whole lot of information. So this is one of those times we're going to go back and make a different decision. So we're going to choose how do you avoid being seen? How do you avoid being seen while feeding? You isolate your prey, she says, or you choose the right circumstances. People tend to avert their gaze when they see a couple intertwined in public. Love bites are easy to explain away. Some of us keep willing herds, or even just individual kind who desire the kiss. That comes at a higher risk these nights, though. I would not recommend it to a young kindred like yourself. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out, you risk the ire of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Lucky for you, New York City is more forgiving in this regard. New York is in a somewhat unique position, she goes on. Many of its neighborhoods remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they present themselves these upcoming nights. As long as you hunt cautiously and respect the masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs. Gregory is waiting for us. The busy street fills the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient me momentarily. These warm bodies contain what I want, what I need. I catch myself. Did I really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? Takes a nudge from Sophie to break my train of thought. Her driver opens up the door for her and then tips his hat to me, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thinned New York traffic. It's still busy in a way that only one of the biggest cities in the world can be. But compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant enough drive. I barely have the time to gather my thoughts and formulate new questions before the car comes to a stop. We're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. Come, Muse, she says in a sing-song voice. Park the car, Gregory, will you? Gregory just nods and Sophie gets out. I join her, and the two of us walk through the glass doors together, and then we take the elevator up. I really like this gallery. They have a nice diversity of the oil paintings in this one. The oil painted backgrounds, I mean. I feel like this ring light is not close enough to me, or I have too many lights on. I feel like I'm in the shadows, but it seems appropriate. All right. I first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back. And then I take in the few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seeming concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse that she flashes in front of a security guard. I follow close, and am let through without any issue. Hello, Rocket Crazy! It is nice to see you. I hope you're having a good night. Oh, thank you so much. I love the vibes. Welcome on in. We're just reading some vampire intrigue stories. About to have our first night on the town. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Oh goodness. Ooh is correct. um, wow. Goodness. I want to say welcome in Raiders. I'm a little sick tonight, so I absolutely apologize for my voice. I'm Muse. Welcome, welcome. We are reading visual novels in here tonight. I am a variety streamer. I do some horror games, some RPGs. My son made me get into Fortnite, so you can see me suck at that tomorrow. Um, but yeah, thank you so much for coming. Thank you guys so much for the follow. Thank you for the follow, Kraken. And of course, thank you for the raid. Thank you for the follow, Shady. Oh my goodness. Welcome, welcome. I gotta get a drink of water. I'm so hoarse. So, this is a vampire intrigue choose your own adventure visual novel based on the popular Vampire the Masquerade. Both tabletop and LARP game. I am a retired LARPer, and so this is a property that's very near and dear to my heart. So this lets me do some little voices and get some of that intrigue in. So right now we are at a fancy posh art gallery, and we're about to meet the first person that we get to feed on. And last night, this is where it all went awry. So let's see how it goes this time. All right, we walk on in. Let's start easy. A social setting like this one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her, Sophie says. Thank you for the follow, Rocket Gravy. Appreciate you. Now, let's see here. There he is. Oh, thank you for the follow, Turtle Divas. And I absolutely loved those turtles. That was the best part of my day, was getting shown your stream. Oh my goodness, I slapped that follow button so fast. They are adorable. So thank you so much for sharing them with the internet. And thank you so much for coming over here and giving me a follow. Much loves to you. I hope that everybody is having a very wonderful and relaxing Saturday evening. I am having a great one now. Y'all just made my whole evening. Thank y'all so much. Like, trying not to get all verklempt over here. Okay. She notices someone in the crowd, flashes a heart melting smile, and suddenly, even I feel drawn to her. I've never thought about it before, but it's laid clear before my eyes in this very moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes me feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar, I'm so happy to see you, she says. How is your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over, please. There's somebody I'd like you to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit in this crowd. Julie, this is Muse. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. The girl gives me a shy smile and nods towards the balcony stairs. I follow, somewhat unsure of what it is exactly Sophie expects me to do. I reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible, but all eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently and then laugh when she does. Julie saves me the trouble of figuring out what the next step is. Oh, hello, Zevius. I hope I'm saying that right. I'm doing great. How are you doing? Welcome in. We're about to get some. Oh, thank you for the follow. About to get it in with the beautiful Julie. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're I mean that you know, she stammers. Hanging. That's what we're doing in here. She puts her wrist to her lips and gives it a little theatrical nip. Then she looks at me, embarrassed, but also hopeful. So, choices are, yeah, I do. I don't know what you're talking about. And what? You're into that sort of thing? And so we are going to hold fast to yesterday's chat choice, which was, what? You're into that sort of thing? She blushes, looks down at the floor, and then nods her head. Could you, I mean, if you'd like, Miss Langley tells me she swallows hard and avoids my eyes. She tells me that I taste nice. And so the little fang choice is a feeding opportunity, which we were advised multiple times that we need to eat. Or we can choose the pious road, which is don't drink from Julie. As our hunger increases, you see the little blood border around either side of the screen, and that will get increasingly more tightly focused if we refuse to feed. So I know what happens, but we're gonna do it anyway. We're almost caught up to where Stream Kitty made the horrible choice. All right. I take her forearm in my hands. A quick look around confirms that no one is watching. No security cameras cover this area. I bite down, gently. It's surreal. She's just given me her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? I need I need to ask Sophie. I tear away from her. A brief convulsion shakes me. It's her smell. It's her smell. It's not right. The temporary feeling of bliss the girl felt when I bit her is gone in an instant. She's disappointed, annoyed even. She looks at me, unsure of what's the matter. So, for the new viewers, this is a part that I left out of the recap. Um, we have a picky palate, so we can only drink some blood because no one knows quite who we are and who our sire was, because he turned us and left. So we have no idea where he comes from, what kind of special quirks we might have, and one of those quirks is we can't eat everybody. So that's why this is about to go poorly. Come back, please. Just you can have some more. Just just a little bit, just a little bit more. The very thought makes me want to throw up what little of her blood I've tasted. I shake my head no. She sniffs, starts crying, wipes her face in her jacket sleeve, and walks down the stairs into the hall. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly. Looking at her now, only some of the residual awe hangs in the air. Yeah, she's pretty, maybe even beautiful, sure, but not my type. Whatever came over me before? I walk over to her. Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you, but we need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come with, Muse, Muse. Gregory is waiting out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses me. So, how did it go? Moving away from that top choice, because oh my god. So, we are choosing I tried but because this lady is the only one that's been able to help us so far, so we're not lying to her. That's what we did last night, and the whole game went off the rails, and then I spent 3 hours fixing it. Alright. I tried, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't stand the smell, or the taste, I admit. Oh, the lovely Luminator is being my cabana boy this evening. One moment, please. I'm sorry, it just popped up. Thank you, thank you. Alright. Curious, Sophie says. I consider Julie's blood to have one of the most exquisite and unique bouquets in the city. And trust me, I have refined taste. She almost sounds like she's offended. Offended is a little better than pissed off, I suppose. Oh well, if at first you don't succeed, perhaps you need a change of pace. Time for the next stop. Training wheels off. This time, Gregory, Flushing Meadows, please. Gregory takes the car over the Williamsburg Bridge, and I settle my thoughts. Alright, so, what did you do to the people back there? What's this about training wheels? Why Flushing Meadows? So, we can get a little more context for our newer viewers by choosing this top option. Thank you. So we'll go with the contextual option. Those people back at the hall, they were all entranced. Even I was under your spell. What was that? I ask. She smiles with satisfaction. Oh, that old trick. It's just the blood doing my bidding. We all have our talents. Some of them come from the legacy we inherit from our sire. Others can be learned with experience. I can sway people or make them fear me. I see more of the world and in greater detail than some kindred. I can will my body to move with unparalleled precision and grace, and more. All of these skills make me who I am. They also help me hunt. Choices are, what are my powers? How do I use my powers? Do I need my powers to hunt? Any thoughts from the chat on which option you'd like to see while I take a convenient favorite? Oh, moving the recliner in here was the best thing. Oh man, I'm living my best life right now, guys. Even with being a little sick, this recliner is making it all worth it. I know you're jealous. How do I use my powers? How exactly do I use these talents? I ask. You will the blood to do your bidding. Many times, you'll find that you do these things intuitively, almost passively. But making an entire room focus their attention on you, that's tempting the beast. Always keep the masquerade in mind, however. It is all fine if you can disappear in plain sight or command animals with your mind, but save those overt talents for the right place and the right time. It only takes us a half an hour to reach the park at this time of night. Both Sophie and I leave the car, with Gregory left behind again to find a parking spot and keep an eye on it. Sophie seems deep in thought. She takes in the surroundings with a dreamy gaze. The sky is surprisingly clear tonight. The stars are just barely visible in the light-polluted aura of the city. I feel like having a snack myself. I'll be by the fountain. Go, look for somebody to your liking. See what effects you can achieve with your blood. But only pick one victim. Just one. And then come back. Seeing how she seems like she's not altogether here right now, I decide to leave Sophie to her own devices and seek out my prey. From here, it looks like I have a few choices. Just taking a stroll around the park and finding an isolated jogger or someone like them could work, but focusing on one area might work better. The New York State Pavilion might work as a secluded spot. There's a skate park nearby, and worst case scenario, there's bound to be some unfortunate wino around. Or maybe the tennis court nearby. There's light coming from there, so somebody might still be playing a late night match. They won't be alone, but they might be tired, let their guard down. As these scenarios play out in my mind, I realize I'm planning how to assault a stranger in the middle of the night. It's a weird way to be, but the now familiar hunger prompts me to act. What did I get to drink? Unfortunately, tonight, Xevious, it's just water. Unfortunately. Most nights, it's either truly like beverage or gin and tonic, or my favorite is champagne. But you can't drink champagne every day. I've tried. All right. So, um, chat. What would you vote here? So I have one from Luminator that says search for a victim around the park, hunt near the decrepit pavilion, look for prey at the tennis court, or take a walk but don't feed. I'm not going to do that last one. So tennis court, pavilion, take a walk. Let's see here. All right. Oh man, I'm so hoarse. Okay. I think we're going to search for a victim around the park. I start walking. The park's many avenues must hold a good spot or two for a predator like myself. I pass two soccer fields and circle around where the Fountain of the Planets once awed visitors with its spectacle before coming across an opportunity. A woman, a small duffel bag on her arm, is making her way through the park in a hurry. She doesn't seem to have noticed me yet. So, I can lie in wait and then overpower her, or I can focus her attention. This is the first time that I have a choice on which powers I want to use. If I focus her attention, I might have a better chance of her not screaming. We're gonna try presence. I think back to what Sophie did in the hall. How she managed to focus the attention of the entire gathering on her. That might be a tall order for me, but a single person? That could be doable. Gotta believe in ourselves, right? For a moment, I'm thinking how an old guy in a hood should appear over my shoulder saying, "Use the Force, Muse, use the Force." Feels ridiculous. But then something stirs within me. There's a confidence there, an allure that I might have had before, but that's increased manifold in this moment. I catch the woman's eye. She flashes an unsure smile, almost in spite of herself, as she passes me by. Let's see, I have hey, or hey, because it's dot dot dot. Stop. Wait, please. Mama always said manners get you what you want. So let's see if manners get us what we want. Wait, please. She's tense, gripping her bag close, but attentive. See, Turtle Divas and I, we're on the same wave. She's tense, gripping her bag close, but attentive. Her eyes lock onto mine. Slight smiles there again. Yeah. Yes? What is it? Almost intuitively, I close the distance between us. She can't look away. She is unprepared for what follows. In a swift move, I grab her and bite down. Her surprise resonates in her blood. Hot, excited, fast flowing. She tenses up and then relaxes. The duffel bag hits the ground. Less. Footsteps. Oh no. Oh shit. Okay. I let go of her. She drops to the ground, barely conscious. Yes, I'm from Michigan, so we are Southern Canada. I can't deal without being polite. See, and we tried politeness, and now we might be in troubles. Oh god, the suspense. A hooded man is looking menacingly at me. Sweet. Oh, he looks like a fuck. Alright. What do you think you're doing? Barging in on my turf like this, lick. And so my choices are, lick, what kind of slur is that? Didn't mean to trespass. I'm gone, I'm gone. Piss off, or else. So, I think, I don't know, chat. What do you think? You want to know what kind of slur this is? Didn't mean to trespass. We aren't going to resort to violence quite yet. Alright, let's see. What did you call me? A lick? What's that even supposed to mean? I say. Don't be cute with me. I know what you are. Shove that masquerade bullshit up your ass. Better tell me who you're with before my posse shows up and we beat it out of you, he says, very hostile. So my choices are I'm here with Sophie Langley. I'm with the Camarilla. Big talk coming from a chump. So, I mean, might not be the best idea to threaten the man who just like, I'm gonna beat your ass right now. So, I mean, he clearly knows about the masquerade. We could tell him that we're with the cam. He might be with the anarchs. That is a coin toss on how that's gonna work. We could say our direct allegiance, which is Sophie, who is our sire. So, I don't know. Like, ooh, damn. All right. Let's see. So, we're gonna choose Sophie because maybe name dropping will help. Yeah, it's a big because I don't want to out like the whole cam. Maybe yeah. I came here with Sophie Langley. She's my patron, I say in a hurried rush. Doesn't ring a bell. Sounds fancy though. He licks his lips, exposing his fangs and looking at me voraciously, a nervous tic or an attempt at intimidation. I wonder what. Oh. I wonder what would Callahan do if I brought you in? Huh? Break your shins, leave you out to be kissed by the sun? Ooh, concrete shoes, maybe. He's old school like that. So, yes, this dude, definitely an anarch, because Boss Callahan is the anarch baron, who uh, is the subject of the other games that I played through. So, my choices are to attack him, call for help, or I can attempt to dominate and force him to back down. Yeah. I'm gonna try to just like get a little maybe we a badass, maybe we're a badass. We don't know. We don't know who our daddy was. So we gotta give it a shot. I mean, kabow. I agree. Enough's enough. I won't be intimidated by this fucking asshole. Leave now. His whole countenance changes. A cruel beast one moment, and a humbled pup the next. He walks away, just like that. How did I do it? Not wishing to tempt fate any further, I return to the Unisphere, looking back over my shoulder to make sure I'm not being followed. That's gonna be a problem later, but we're not gonna worry about it right now. Yeah. Two figures are visible near the sculpture, a man and a woman, tangled in a passionate embrace. No, not exactly. It's Sophie feeding. But this whole scene is set up so that it looks like a couple getting an intimate moment in public. She pulls it off like she's done it 100 times before. It occurs to me that she probably has. The man is unsure on his feet as she lets go of him and leads him towards a nearby bench. Noticing me, she whispers something into his ear and leaves him. Her driver appears from behind a tree because Gregory is like Alfred and he's just everywhere you need to be. Well, Muse, how did it go? Oh, damn. I'm about to answer when the same figure as before emerges from one of the alleys. He looks at the three of us and a predatory smile creeps onto his lips. You're screwed, dumb fuck. You think you can mess with my head and get away with it? Think you'll be safe with your friends? Well, I have friends too. He makes a motion to shout, but two things happen almost at the same time. First, that feeling of warmth and beauty emanating from Sophie flares up again, entrancing both you and the hooded thug. His shout comes out as a weak, confused squeak. Second, Gregory produces a wooden stake from a holster under his jacket and slams it into the thug's chest. Fuck yeah, Gregory! Gregory is the MVP! Just like that, in a few seconds, the posturing vampire is down on the ground, paralyzed. I see you've made a friend, Muse. Curious choice of company, I would say. Who is he? Alright, so, choices are he knew I was a vampire. He said this was his turf. He mentioned a Callahan. So, I think it's pertinent that she know about the Callahan part because that dude is bad news. He said something about presenting me to somebody named Callahan. Ever heard of him? She looks shocked for a split second and then recovers her regular countenance. Yes, I have. This hoodlum is an anarch then. Curious. Corona Park has not been claimed by any kindred last I checked. Let's go to the car. We'll put him in the trunk and present him to Kadir tomorrow night. I am sure he'll be delighted to make this unbound's acquaintance. Gregory carries the staked vampire and dumps him in the car's trunk like a mannequin. It's a strange sight, and I'm quite happy that I'm not in that poor fucker's shoes right now. Amen to that. It's almost surprising that I can get away with just casually throwing a stiff into the back of the car and driving away. But then I remember that Sophie has been doing this for far, far longer than I have. Still, the nagging thought that anything we did tonight could have been recorded on a CCTV camera or picked up by a rando with a half-decent smartphone and streamed online fills me with dread. Yeah, isn't that effect really cool? And sometimes they'll even move if you're on the screen long enough. I love the animated backgrounds. They're just so beautiful. Hunting and using my abilities is dangerous business. It's clear that this whole being a vampire thing has about as many caveats as it does perks. I'm taken out of my headspace by Sophie's voice. I will pick you up tomorrow night, the same as tonight. I have some business to attend to at Elysium, and I expect you to accompany me. Plus, our friend in the back needs to be properly introduced to Kadir and the prince. I'm sure he'll have some interesting things to say to the court. Her voice is cold and cruel and nothing like the enchanting personality she showed at the gallery earlier tonight. Sophie is clearly a woman of many faces. So, choices are, what's gonna happen to him? Good riddance, the guy's an asshole. I'd do the same thing in his place. I fucking would not. So, my choice is good riddance, the guy's an asshole. Oh yeah, I can imagine he's going to enjoy meeting Kadir. I hope he gives him a good grilling. The guy's an asshole. Oh, Kadir will enjoy it too, I'm sure, she says. She pauses, seemingly lost in thought for a while. You haven't told me how your hunting went. Getting the hang of it, I would hope. So, choices are it'll take some getting used to, and I think so. Yeah, I think we should maybe have a little confidence in ourselves. I think so. I am. Yeah, I'll cope. I'm glad, she says. She doesn't question me further. She seems distracted, not all there. Her thoughts drift and the car remains silent until we reach my apartment. We will pick you up tomorrow evening. Good night. And just like that, without any further courtesy, Sophie leaves, driven to her apartment by Gregory with a body in the trunk, right in the middle of Manhattan. Did I cross paths with situations like this unknowingly? What other secrets did I pass on the streets without ever knowing their true nature? Somebody fucked with me like that. I'm pretty sure it was a meme I saw online where it was like, how many houses in your neighborhood have someone in the basement? Just like based on like statistics, it's like there's at least one house per every, I forget how many square miles that has a captive. So enjoy that fun Saturday evening thought from Nightshade Muse. Just serving good things in here. My haven is just as I left it hours ago. Although the sun won't come up for some time, I feel tired. I learned something about myself today, and it'll take time to process. I'm not in the mood for television, and the few books on the shelves in the apartment are either in languages I don't speak or sound like a boring read. Nothing left to do but rest. I settle in the back room and I lock the door. A moment of hesitation, but then a decision. This time, I turn the light off. I think back to Julie. How many people in the city know about this vampiric society? How many are willing accomplices in sustaining it? And the thug that I met in the park, if he's not Camarilla, then what is he? Are there independent vampires? How does that work? More questions. I begin wondering if there's ever going to be a night when I can start crossing them off the list instead of adding to it. I close my eyes. I sink into the now familiar void of nothingness. It greets me with open arms like an old friend. Oh, can I click? Can I clicky clicky? I can. Okay. There we go. I open my eyes. It's pitch dark in here, the blackness of a coffin drifting in the abyss. Oh, right, the light. I grasp for the switch and flip it. The familiar cramped room with a steel door and no windows comes into view, and I emerge from the bedroom fully awake, just like yesterday. This time, however, Sophie is waiting for me, comfortably seated on the sofa in the living room space, a book in her hand. The Melancholy of Resistance. The title's sure on brand. Good evening, Muse, she says. So, choices are good evening, Sophie. How did you get inside? Of course you can fucking get inside. It's her apartment. She gave it to you. Sorry to have kept you waiting. Seems like the most reasonable answer. Because she's been nice so far, and we're going to go with that. Sorry to have kept you waiting, I say. To be fair, I haven't been here long. I was enjoying reminiscing about the time when I called this my haven. The decor was much different then, of course. Come, we have an appointment. I received word Elysium would be called again tonight on account of your unruly friend from Corona Park. This should be a great opportunity for you to mingle. She keeps talking as I walk downstairs and get into the car. Gregory gives me a slight nod and a small smile while opening the door for Sophie. He starts the car while I take my seat in the back. All right, one moment. I hope that everyone's having a good night, and I thank all of y'all for sticking with me and coming to check me out. Some of y'all for the very first time. Very, very, very much appreciate it. Very, very much. I'm very new to this. I've been streaming for only about 2 months now, so. And I wasn't sure this was going to be a format that anyone would be even remotely interested in but me. So it's nice to see that a couple people at least think it's kind of cool. Sophie says, most of the Primogen Council is bound to be there, at least those who would usually attend. Probably some of the other important personalities you do well to at least learn about. So, best of the two options is who should I talk to and how should I carry myself when I'm inside? So we're going to go with how should I carry myself? You never told me if there's any kind of savoir-vivre kind of rules that I should respect when I'm talking to other vampires. She says, knowing that you are among your superiors is probably the most important. In our society, status comes with age. Pardon my sincerity, but you are insignificant. Not even associating with me can make the fact that you've been kindred for barely a few nights be forgotten. So, know your place. Stay out of your superior's business and show the utmost respect. Thanking the prince for sparing you and maybe having a friendly chat with Kadir publicly might show your gratefulness for being part of the Camarilla now. I would suggest that you make it sincere. At any rate, you should behave yourself tonight. Remember what I told you about reflecting on me as your patron. I have a reputation to uphold in the court. Do not tarnish it. There it is. She might have saved me. She might be protecting and teaching me. But it is clear that she is really concerned about her own intentions. I step into the art hole with something of a bad memory. The last time I was here, my entire world had been turned upside down. My entire existence nearly ended. But tonight, there's very little outward hostility. Yes, Kadir gives me a look that's definitely intended to remind me of my place. But the prince, also in attendance, seems pleased to see me. Welcome, Sophie, Muse. The prince smiles. Did I get that right? Good evening to both of you. I understand that there is somebody else you wish to present to the court tonight. Yes, Prince, Sophie says. They will be joining us shortly. My assistant is retrieving them presently. This better be worth the prince's time, Langley, Kadir says. The prince gives Kadir a cold glance. Forgive the sheriff's harshness, Prince Panhard goes on. He's in a particularly foul mood tonight. Something to do with Muse's begetter eluding his grasp, I believe. Ouch. That must have hurt his ego, even if his only reply is a crooked smile. The mention of my sire makes me grit my teeth in anger. Fucking asshole. Settling me with a curse that cut off my career, cheated me out of my ambitions, offering little in return so far. I remind myself that defeatism will get me nowhere. Mindfulness, the here and now. This is an opportunity. I will make the most of it, if only to spite literally everyone who doubts my true worth. There we go. That's the fucking spirit, Muse. The flaring up of whispers in the gallery hall breaks me out of my thoughts. Gregory enters the room. The jumpsuit-clad, inert vampire is still staked on his shoulder. Oh, the show's about to start. Sophie's driver places uh, Sophie's driver places his charge in the middle of the room and nods respectfully to Kadir. The sheriff approaches the vampire and removes the stake from his chest. The captive's eyes flicker to life, and he starts looking around in disbelief. Like a cornered animal, he backs out on all fours and keeps going in circles until he realizes he's trapped. Kadir steps on the man's chest and pins him to the floor. All right, Daddy. Why? Who do we have here? Oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Oh, no. Come on, don't. Silence, Kadir says. The sheriff takes on an aura of utter dread. He appears as if he's a primal force of nature that's out to get you, and there's absolutely nothing you can do but shrivel in terror. The beast inside me shrieks, and I could swear that it happens in unison with the instincts of some of the other guests in here. It's unlike anything I've ever experienced in his company. He really did go easy on me, all things considered. It seems like it takes all of the hoodlum's willpower to not crawl into the fetal position and start crying. No, please, don't hurt me, man. No, don't. You and me are going to have a little talk downstairs. At the prince's discretion, of course, Kadir says. Please, go ahead, my sheriff. You heard the prince. Get up. Let's go, he says tightly. He doesn't wait for confirmation. He just grabs the man and drags him, kicking and screaming, out of the room. Conversations start all around me. Some whispered, and some quite overt. Sophie looks somewhat bored of the whole affair, her eyes wandering from art piece to art piece, clearly finding nothing to her particular liking. Torture in an art gallery? These are my choices. Torture in an art gallery. Will Kadir manage on his own? What happens now? What do you guys think? Any thoughts? While I take a drink and eat a pretzel, so I'm gonna be on mute for just a second. Torture? Will Kadir manage? What happens now? Sorry, I absolutely had the munchies. Apologies. Alright. What happens now? So, what happens now? It'll be at least some minutes before Kadir gets the information he seeks out of this thug. Why not mingle while we wait for him to break? She says. Excuse me. Sophie leaves my side and goes to a corner of the gallery where a group of kindred, some seemingly pretty old-fashioned, are gathered. The The concierge offers me a drink. Still warm. Smells nice. Just a sip to start me off. A splash over my palate, coating my tongue and the inside of my cheeks. Oh, nourishment. I'm left to my own devices. I have a quick look around. The prince is currently talking to a dark-skinned woman that I recall seeing here a few nights ago. She has a cold but noble countenance to her. Their conversation seems to be casual. A loud, shrill laugh turns my attention to the bespectacled man who I saw with Sophie on the night of my judgment. He's making the rounds, chatting up different patrons. I feel someone's eyes on me. A casually dressed, plain-looking man stands alone near a column, watching me. He turns his eyes away sheepishly when he realizes I've noticed. I feel like confront is a bad word. So, try to talk to the prince. I don't think that should be my first person I try to talk to. Chat up the man with the glasses. Or confront the man looking at me. So, we're gonna go confront the man looking at me. Because he was one of the ones that tried to save me the first night, too. There's something about this guy. It's not that he's staring at me. Most everybody in this room has at some point or another. It's how he does it. He seems shy, maybe even afraid. It's hard to find a secluded spot in the gallery tonight, but this guy has an entire corner of the room all to himself. As I approach, he's standing alone with no glass in hand, a worried look on his face. So, I think we'll start polite. Say, good evening, mister. Good evening, Mr. Oh, thank you. So this is Mr. Robert Larson. Larson. Or you can call me Robert. Either is fine. So, choices are, so who are you? What's your role in this court? Why are you standing here alone like this? Uh... Who the fuck are you is what Luminator says. As I waffle. You just watching me waffle. Okay. Who are you? So, who are you? You mean like, generally? A vampire. Same as you. Though, I might not quite look it. I'm one of Prince Panhard's Primogen. I'm here on business, in case the prince requires my insight. Usually, it's so she can hear me out before ignoring me entirely. Not sure if you were paying attention the other night, but when the prince mentioned diverging opinions on whether you should be executed or not, that was me. I was the diverging opinion. And so our choices are, wow, thank you. What was your reasoning? And you were being ignored. So I'm gonna thank him because we're polite. We're polite in here. That's huge. Thank you. Even if it didn't change the prince's mind, I appreciate it. Yeah, that's usually how it goes. Listen, I don't want to be rude, and I appreciate you reaching out, but word of advice, stay away from me. Many vampires in this sect regard my position as Primogen to be some kind of a joke, you know? You talk to me, and they'll notice, and they'll hold it against you. Thank you. I have a quick look behind me and see that a few of the kindred keep shooting me curious glances. One woman in particular, a redhead boasting a fanciful hairstyle, watches me disapprovingly. Wonderful. Some of them already do, I imagine. Excuse me, I need to try to get a word in with a few Primogen members before Kadir returns. Enjoy your night. With just the critical looks of a few kindred to keep you company, I start thinking about who to pursue next. I notice Sophie mingling with other kindred, clearly in her element and not to be disturbed. Kadir hasn't come back yet, so I can probably still find time for at least one conversation. So I can chat up the man with the glasses, who is a total D-bag. Or I could try to talk to the prince and be like, thanks, so glad I'm not dead. So I think I'm gonna give that a try. She probably is going to hate the fuck out of me, but, you know, let's at least try to be amusing while we're here. I approach the prince, trying to stay as respectful of her private conversation as possible. She glances at me as I step forward, her scrutinizing gaze mimicked by her companion. She addresses the dark-skinned woman before turning to me. Excuse me for just a moment, Samira. Yes, Muse, what is it? So, my choices are, I wanted to give you my thanks. I wanted to ask about Sophie. I wanted to ask about the Camarilla. We're gonna give her my thanks. That's what Sophie told me to do, and we're gonna try to listen to Mama Sophie right now. So, I wish to thank you for sparing me, Prince. I realized that it was not an easy decision to make, and I wanted to express my sincere appreciation. How thoughtful of you, she says. She takes a long look at me before she continues. I didn't do it from the kindness of my unbeating heart. You are an asset to Miss Langley, to the Camarilla, and to me. I believe I made the right decision. Prove to me and the other kindred of this city that it was so, and there might be more to your future nights than just survival and servitude. The dark-skinned woman looks impatiently at me and catches the prince's attention. Forgive me, that's all the time I can spare right now. We have some things to discuss with Samira still. Enjoy your night, Muse. So I can say same to you, or just bow and leave. We're gonna shut the fuck up and we're gonna bow. Nah, we bowed out. I guess nope. Got nothing else to say. We're leaving. A loud exchange near the staircase grabs everybody's attention. Kadir is back and the hoodlum is with him. The sheriff pushes the other vampire inside the room. Oh, it's about to pop off. The vampire that threatened me last night is a mess. That stupid hat is still inexplicably on his head, covering some of his ruined face in welcome shadow. He is barely conscious. His shin is broken, you think? Something is protruding there, making the pant leg bulge. One arm seems twisted at a strange angle. Very little blood, surprisingly, but a whole lot of hurt. Well, Kadir, did our guest cooperate? The prince says. Tell the prince your name. It's Howard. And who do you run with, Howard? Kadir says. The Midnighters. An anarch coterie, my prince. Active for some time now, though, from what this one has told me, the name is about the only legacy the group has kept over the years. I see, the prince says. Hey, Prince, I didn't mean it. I didn't know. I didn't. A loud crack makes some of the guests audibly gasp as Kadir's slap dislocates the man's jaw. A spray of blood creates something like an abstract art piece on the floor. This one is guilty of threatening a member of the Camarilla and claiming a domain without the prince's approval. That alone would be enough to pass swift judgment, but he's also anarch scum. My prince, Kadir says. There can only be one verdict, Sheriff. Final death. Do your duty. Unless, of course, somebody would like to play at being a good Samaritan, like our dear Miss Langley did a few nights ago. The look the prince serves to me and Sophie is a cruel jest. Sophie takes it gracefully, smiling and slipping her arm under mine in a strange public show of affection. Nobody says anything. The vampire named Howard jumps to his feet and makes a run for it. I'm not intervening in this. They got it. Kadir's got it. I have a feeling that Howard's efforts are fruitless. Just a few seconds later, that feeling is confirmed. Hi, Loomis! Welcome in! How are you doing? Howard is getting his ass beat. Howard should not have tried to murk me in the park. So, he's about to get got. In what seems like a blink of an eye, Kadir appears first near his scabbarded sword in one corner of the gallery, and then next to the escaping anarch on the opposite side of the room. The next moment, Howard's head flies off his body, baseball cap free. His lifeless body crumples to the ground and begins to decompose in real time. It's an uncanny sight. Oh, you got a grimer? I love those. They're so cute. As always, our sheriff does not fail to impress. I would like to thank Miss Langley for bringing this anarch thug to my and Kadir's attention. I assume all have found the verdict satisfactory. It's a rhetorical question, of course, and everybody in here knows it. Then I consider tonight's meeting concluded. Good night to all of you. She steps out of the room, and I see that many of the guests move to do the same. Sophie seems to be conversing with somebody, a serious-looking man in a trench coat, about what transpired. I probably have the time to strike up a conversation of my own, too. Kadir al-Asami is still here, for one, but clearly getting ready to leave. Larson is still moping around, and the other man I noticed before Kadir bought the Anarch in is still chatting with the remaining attendants. So, I think I'm going to try to talk to Kadir, because we are playing the good little girl tonight, because Sophie asked us to be very, very good. And I know that that sociable man is a horrifying asshole, and I'm trying desperately not to get in a fight right now. The sheriff's mood seems to have improved, so I decide that I won't get a better shot at saying my piece. He's just sheathing his sword as I approach him. He notices me just before his face turns from a melancholic frown back to his regular predatory smirk. I seem to have caught him in a moment of reflection. "What is it, Muse?" he says flatly. Alright, So he's for sure not going to share with me because these are my choices. I wanted to thank you for bringing me here. Is everything all right? And impressive work tonight. So, what do you guys think? Now that I know there are a couple people in here, if you'd like to chime in, you're more than welcome to. It's not required, but that allows me to take a little voice break. So if you'd like to chime in, I do take the chat's votes into count. So what do you think? I wanted to thank you for bringing me here, or is everything all right? So thank or ask about his mental health. Oh my god, those Reese's pretzels are evil. They're so good. And yes, Luminator, if you would not mind grabbing me some more water, that'd be super fantastic. I do wish that was gin, though. All right, let's thank him. I wanted to thank you for bringing me here in one piece and for giving me a chance. An emotion creeps onto Kadir's face that I haven't seen the sheriff exhibit yet. Is that gratitude? It's fleeting, only there for a moment, and gone in the blink of an eye. You're great, thanks. It was trying on my nerves, and you are still far and away from proving that it was the right thing to do. So don't think that a few kind words will let you off the hook, he says. I wonder, how does it feel to bring a lamb to the slaughter the way you did tonight? Do you feel any remorse, regret? I'm going to enjoy guessing. If there's nothing else, I'll be taking my leave. So, choices are, why are you so mean? Do you enjoy being sheriff? And can you tell me something about Sophie? So I'm gonna ask him if he enjoys being sheriff. He probably won't. He probably won't answer me. Tell me, do you enjoy this, being a sheriff for Prince Panhard? Enjoyment has nothing to do with this. It is my duty. When when Celebros asked me to fill the shoes of the sheriff and root out our enemies, I was glad to serve the sect. When Helene became prince and asked that I keep doing this, I agreed, because I believe in the Camarilla and I respect the fact that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. He picks up the sword and turns towards the stairs. Thank you. Oh, fresh ice and everything. More Kindred understood that. My job would be much duller, though. On that note, I wish you a good night. Oh, we got a good night out of him. And watch yourself. You've messed up my batting average, so I'll be sure to keep a close eye on you. Aww. And with that final threat, he leaves the gallery. Didn't feel quite like a threat this time, though. It's right about when Sophie ends her conversation and walks over to me. Interesting evening, wasn't it? Come, Gregory's waiting downstairs. She seems preoccupied with something and not in a talkative mood. It's an awkward ride back to the city. This time, we arrive at another building. It's just 2 streets across from my apartment, and she brings me upstairs through a very nice lobby and a luxurious looking hall into her domain. Ooh, we get to go to Mama's house tonight. Please, have a seat. I shall be right with you. I take in my surroundings. The apartment is like a gallery, an old school smoking room that you've seen in some period piece once, and a nouveau riche's living room meticulously combined together. Apologies, old habits die hard. Clearly, some stick with you even after your death. She drags on her cigarette and breathes out. Breathes. How is she doing that? Can you do that? Oh, yes. It takes some practice, but you can keep smoking if you'd like. Other things do. Experiment. You might surprise yourself. But I did not bring you here to show off. This is where I rest these nights. A door in the back, the bedroom, similar to yours. I have servants and bodyguards in addition, of course. I brought you here because I need you to trust me. When I told you before that I needed your best behavior to uphold my good standing with the court, I meant it. But that is not the whole story. Oh, into the thick of it! Into the thick of it! I have your interests in mind, too. That is why I've given you your own haven, why I'm trying to teach you how to navigate this new reality. But you need to trust me, or else this won't work. You can come here whenever you feel like asking me something, when you're in trouble, too, though I hope that won't happen often. I would ask you to come here when you wake up tomorrow. I'll have something to discuss with you. So, choices are I'll be here, trust needs to be earned, and why not discuss it right now? I think we're going to go with I'll be here because if she wanted to discuss it, she would have. I'm not going to be a bitch about it. We're just going to get through it. All right. I'll come over first thing tomorrow night. I appreciate that, she says. That silence again. There's definitely something on Sophie's mind tonight, but she doesn't seem eager to share it with me just yet. I'm leaving for another visit. Come downstairs with me. We'll give you a lift. A quick trip. I promise that I'll show up tomorrow and some polite goodbyes later. I open the door to my own haven and gather my thoughts. It's exciting in a way, being dragged deeper and deeper into this secret society and its rules. Whatever Sophie has planned for me, it's bound to teach me more about this thing I have become. I sink into my vampiric sleep with just a sliver of hope. It's a welcome change. And we're sleeping. All right. Once more, darkness falls upon the city. I wake, same as I have these past few nights, in a windowless room. As I pry open the reinforced steel door, I look out the window to see, invariably, a sky bereft of sunlight, and then it hits me. The hunger. For a moment, I let myself wonder if there will ever come a night when it's not just there. Given what I've learned so far, I probably have as much chance of kick-starting my heart with jumper cables. I lock the door behind me and head over to Sophie's. I did promise to call on her. Might as well not keep the lady waiting. And hey, what else am I gonna do? Get in touch with my boss? He's probably looking for me, if only to scold me for the unattended files piling up on my desk. What is he gonna do? Call the cops? Ugh, not worth the hassle. I'm almost hoping the few coworkers that seemed to give a shit about me were faking it. Would make things easier. A fresh start, from the ground up, just like old times. These thoughts put me in a weird mood. It's a strange sensation to walk the crowded streets, same as I have so many times before, but feeling so disconnected, All these people, and I'm not one of them. Not anymore. I'm a vampire, a kindred, and I need to carve my own path in this strange new existence, one way or another. Appropriately enough, I arrive at Sophie's building, just as that thought crosses my mind. A quick word with the security guard, and I'm led into the elevator. Apparently, Miss Langley is expecting you. Of course she is. I knock and wait patiently as the footsteps on the other side grow closer. Finally, the door opens, and Gregory, Sophie's driver, invites me in. I find the lady herself standing by the window, silhouetted against the city's moonlight glow. She stares out, motionless, like a marble statue. So, choices are everything all right? Am I interrupting something? And good evening, Sophie. I think I'm going to ask her if she's okay, because she don't seem all right. Is everything all right? I ask. She doesn't react immediately, but seems to snap out of some meditative state and looks at me with strangely bleary eyes. Yes, it is. How kind of you to ask. Tell me, when you look out at this city, when you see all of the lights, hear the hum, smell the rain on the pavement, what do you think about? I gaze out. The lights and the rain, the relentless honking below, music blasting from a nearby window, echoing off buildings. Someone should record an hour of this and throw it up on YouTube as an ambient piece. They have. Other than that, though, it's business as usual. Oh, thanks for hanging out, Kraken. I super appreciate you. I hope that you enjoyed the stream so far. Other than that, though, it's business as usual. The sights, the sounds, the smells. I know them all too well. Sophie watches me. You can tell she's disappointed somehow, but she covers it up with a courteous smile. Well, not everyone can appreciate the intricacies that the world offers. In fact, among my kindred, my clan is somewhat notorious for finding innate meaning in even the mundane. You see, that the blood that flows within me is that of Clan Toreador. There are 13 such bloodlines among us kindred, though that number has been contested in the past, and these nights it seems that nothing is certain anymore. The clans have gone by many epithets over the years, but the names used these nights have their roots in medieval times, the original Inquisition, if you can believe it. They used these to categorize us, describe our inherent differences. In time, we adopted them ourselves. Each clan has a uniqueness about it, inescapable, originating from an ancient progenitor, I can speak words, carried from sire to child. The Toreador, a gift lies in a sensitivity of sorts. We are uniquely attuned to beauty and ugliness both. We can see either where most cannot, a blessing on most nights, occasionally a curse. The sheriff is of my clan as well, although you'd be hard-pressed to see him as such. Poor Kadir. Breaks my heart to see him in this state. Still, there is a beauty to it as well. Nothing like a good fall from grace. Try as she might to act playful, I can tell, that she is genuinely concerned about Kadir. She lets her gaze wander for a brief moment, but she is quick to regain her composure. Then there are the Ventru, known for their pride and proclivity to rule over others. The prince represents that clan, and is quite common in our society around the globe. Where the Blue Bloods think themselves rulers, the Bruja like to see themselves as the preeminent revolutionaries. They call for a universal rebellion while being slaves to their own tempers. We don't discuss the rabble much anymore. not after they've largely broken off with the Camarilla. They think they were philosophers once, long ago. I hope to tell you more about some of the other bloodlines tonight. So, our choices are: what's my clan? How can I tell a kindred's clan? And clans stick together, right? So, we're gonna go with all of the above. What the fuck? Yeah, I know. I want answers to all of these questions. So, I think it's going to be more about how can I tell a kindred's clan, because I know. I know the answer, and we're not going to get it from up here. Say I meet a vampire for the first time. How can I tell what their clan is? Usually, you cannot, she says. With a few exceptions, perhaps. For some clans, the uniqueness I mentioned leads into their appearance or disposition, but even that can be misleading. Outside of a very few specific cases, knowing one's clan is less important than understanding who they are, personally, what drives them, their wants and needs, weaknesses, too. Speaking of which, we've come to the reason I wanted to speak with you tonight. It is customary in our society, especially among younger kindred, to organize into coteries. Sometimes these are called by the prince themselves, or mandated by a fledgling sire. In our case, you may treat it as more of a strong recommendation. I want you to seek out companions, not only because you need to learn more about our society, but also because it is useful. True friendships are rare among the kindred, but having allies, even temporary ones, is something of a necessity these nights. We might be selfish creatures, but we are drawn to each other nonetheless. Alright, our choices are: where should I look for allies? And do you have your own coterie? Luminator is very invested. If anybody in the chat wants to put their 2 cents in, you're more than welcome to. So choices are allies or coterie. You're welcome to put it in the chat if you like while I take a sip. My opinion? I do appreciate you asking. I'm so glad you're invested in this. Let's see. I think that we're very pragmatic in this playthrough. It seems like. So where should I look for allies seems like a good one. Asking her if she has her own coterie probably might get us some context. She might evade the question. Um, and then we might not get the answer to the top question, and I feel like the top question is kind of important. So, I will go with the top. One moment. Any suggestions on where I should start looking? I was just about to get to that, she says. She puts on a mysterious smile. Oh, we fell directly into the trap. Just trapped. I spent some of my precious time last night asking around, pondering potential kindred for you to meet. Came up with a short list of contacts. I hope you'll appreciate the gesture, she says. Forging a partnership with them might offer perspectives and viewpoints that I cannot provide, lenses through which to view our kind. They are all members of the Camarilla, of course, more or less. Alright, we're gonna say, okay, who are they? Because the other choices are not great. Alright then, let's hear it. Who's on the list? Eager to learn about them, I see. Good. I'm glad. So, let us start with the Tremere. They are a powerful clan, disliked by many, but feared and respected by many more. They have been an important pillar of the Camarilla since the very beginning. They are blood sorcerers. Blood sorcerers? I flash back to one of those nights when my ex would stay up late playing video games. Not a pleasant connotation. Take offense to that remark. Sophie snickers. Oh, child, don't be caught up with that look on your face. When you meet a warlock in person, they really are adept at using vitae, their own as well as others, to unique and potent effects. Since they are quite rigid in their hierarchy, the kindred I had in mind for you to meet needs some persuading. His name is Agathon. From what I hear, he is quite the scholar, very ambitious. The child of a noted Tremere here in New York, Aisling Sturbridge. Spend enough time with Agathon, and I'm sure you'll run into her sooner or later. So, blood magic, intriguing. A scholar sounds boring. Chance to meet an important person then. I got Stream Kitty in here. Alright, I'm gonna go with blood magic. Intriguing. This whole blood magic thing sounds intriguing. Oh yes, fascinating, she says. It's also a well-kept secret of the Tremere. Don't expect them to share it right away. Some things have to be earned. Anyway, if you wish to contact the young Tremere, I hear you can usually find him in a New Age bookstore out on Broadway. The Tremere have one of their workshops there. Gregory will give you the details. Now, this next recommendation comes with a bit of a caveat. As you recall me saying, most bloodlines have unique features that might not be obvious at first glance. Well, there is one clan whose members wear their curse right on their sleeve. The Nosferatu. The way she said it, you're pretty sure it should mean something to you. Other than sounding foreign, it doesn't ring any bells. No wonder they make their havens in sewers, she says. Abandoned buildings and such. Their appearance is hideous and obviously unnatural. Had they walked the streets like other kindred, the kind would have learned of our existence long ago. Did she just shudder? It's hard to tell with her usual complexion, but you could swear her skin suddenly took on an even more sickly color. The one I have in mind isn't as big an eyesore as the worst of them, but he's no Adonis either. Still, he has some talents and connections that you might find useful. His name is D'Angelo, and he has an office, for lack of a better term, in the otherwise abandoned grain terminal in Red Hook, right next to one of those Swedish stores. The name escapes me, the one with the awful furniture. Pretty sure she means IKEA. I love how my choice is what IKEA, an office, and what connections does he have? I have to go with IKEA. A Swedish furniture store? You mean IKEA? Yes, that's it. My mind struggles to retain things that are aesthetically displeasing. D'Angelo does odd jobs for Kadir, digging up dirt, locating kindred who would prefer to remain hidden. Kind of work that the Nosferatu are best at. He's on a case right now. Something to do with kind murders, I think. After your initial brush with our dear sheriff, I think it would be wise to show some goodwill towards his agenda. Assisting D'Angelo with his investigation might be just the thing. She takes a brief pause to look out the window again. Now come the two more exotic proposals. Exotic? as if the blood mage and the vampire detective were business as usual. You may have heard about the Gangrel before. They are a wild clan, in touch with their beast in a way that others might not dare attempt. They mostly keep out of big cities, but there are some exceptions. Nominally, they haven't been part of the Camarilla for over 2 decades, but the one kindred I would like you to meet has strong, shall we say, familial ties to the sect. Her name is Tamika. Her sire, Jezebel, was instrumental during the Battle of New York back in 1999, the very same battle that cemented the city as a Camarilla domain. Sadly, her achievements have gone largely unrecognized. Tamika and a number of her siblings still reside in the domain they were awarded after the battle, Prospect Park. Jezebel herself left the city some years ago, fed up with being underappreciated. Good for Jezebel. So, my choices are anything more about Tamika. You mentioned siblings, and should I contact non-Camarilla clans? All right, my very invested moderator. What's your take? As I pet the stream kitty and take a drink of water. Anyone in the chat is more than welcome to chime in too if you have strong feelings about any choices. All right, then we're gonna go with the safe question of should I not contact non-Camarilla clans? Because she's probably gonna give me how best to go about it. I got the impression that contacting vampires who aren't in the Camarilla was frowned upon. But you're saying these gangrel aren't a part of the sect anymore. How does that work? It is not clear cut, she says. The gangrel as a whole have sworn off the Camarilla, but oh, yeah, backseating is totally allowed, Gloom. It's all good. You're welcome to participate, not participate, go with the flow. We're chilling here. It's not as clear cut. The gangrel as a whole have sworn off the Camarilla, but individual kindred of that clan can still hold our ideals. Jezebel was one of them, before she became jaded. Besides, their domain in Prospect Park has been upheld by Prince Panhard for all these years, has it not? We consider them members of the sect, and they have, for the most part, kept to themselves. Perhaps it will take a young kindred such as yourself to make them realize where their loyalties lie. So, you see, seeking out Tamika could prove quite educational, if nothing else. And who knows, perhaps you will find her temperament to be a welcome change of pace. But speaking of change of pace, I have one last suggestion for you, though it's one that I do not make lightly. The kindred who calls herself Hope. She is a Malkavian. They are a uniquely cursed clan. For centuries, we considered them mad, insane, unhinged. But those of us who spend enough time with them come to understand the truth. It is no sickness, but a unique perception of the world that has them appear to us as unstable. And that perception can prove to be very valuable. Having a Malkavian as your companion might be taxing on the nerves, and a true test of patience at times, but their insight and intuition are unrivaled among kindred. As for Hope specifically, she is said to be a recluse, but I have it on good authority that she can currently be found in an internet cafe, I believe it's called, in Lower Manhattan. Gregory has the address. So choices are she doesn't sound like my type, an internet cafe, quaint. Where did you learn about Hope? I want to know where she learned about her. Where did you where did you learn about her exactly? I asked. One of my colleagues told me about her. He considers her uniquely talented and tapped into the current fads among the kind. Not something I am personally interested in, as I'm sure you know by now. I'd take his word for it, at any rate. Well, I believe that's all of them. I still have a few social calls to make tonight, so I'll leave you to it. Use tonight and tomorrow to arrange some cordial visits of your own. I will send Gregory for you as soon as I have further need of your services. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need a car. Join us downstairs, won't you? She smiles once more and turns to her driver. He helps her put on her coat, and the three of us leave Sophie's apartment. Sophie points to one of the cars near the building as Gregory hands me the keys. It's a rather inconspicuous compact car, decent looking, if not luxurious ride. Stay safe, Muse. This is your first night alone. Don't let it be your last. As they drive away, I find myself with more freedom than I've had in the past few nights. A blessing or a burden, only time will tell. With a list of addresses in hand, I consider my next move. All right. So we got our first choices here. Sophie's mention. Okay. First, first quest choice is it's a kind of magic. Sophie's mention of a vampire clan of blood sorcerers sparked my attention. One of them, Agathon, could potentially be my introduction into the bizarre powers of the Tremere. Searching for Hope, Sophie suggested I meet Hope, a reclusive member of the Malkavian clan. She is supposedly holed up in an internet cafe in Lower Manhattan. Gumshoe in the dark. A recent string of violent killings has the Red Hook district of Brooklyn on edge. Sophie mentioned that Kadir al-Asami has a secret associate investigating the murders, a Nosferatu neonate by the name of D'Angelo. If I help him out, he might be persuaded to form a lasting partnership. Jezebel's Childer. Sophie mentioned a gangrel neonate by the name of Tamika, who's made herself a haven in Prospect Park. The Ferals aren't exactly a social bunch, even by kindred standards, but if you can keep her from clawing my eyes out just long enough, she might be persuaded to join me. So, I have a uh, lady boner for Hope. Um, So she's gonna be our first stop because I love her and she was in Shadows of New York and oh my god I love her so much and I'm gonna be so excited to replay Shadows after playing Coteries because I did not realize that I was playing them out of order, so I'm thrilled to do that playthrough again for you too. Alright, so we're gonna go see Hope first. It's a quiet, moody internet cafe. Half of its space serves as a comfy coffee bar these days. But behind a glass wall, it still has a space dedicated to rows of PCs. From the street, I notice tired adults in casual clothes typing away absent-mindedly, and some bored kids wasting the late evening hours on colorful online games. If Sophie's intel is to be believed, this is where Hope has set up her haven. One of the waiters is standing outside of the building, gazing at the sky with a smartphone in one hand and a vape pen in the other. Feel you, dude. I approach the man and tell him that I'm looking for Hope. I'm here on official business. What fucking official business? So, Looking for hope? He releases a soft chuckle. Yeah, you and me both. The man slowly takes a drag from his e-cig, sizing me up and down in silence. After a long, awkward moment, when I'm ready to leave him be, he raises his voice again. Come, right this way. He heads back into the cafe, and I follow his lead. When I make my way through the space with the computers, no one averts their gaze from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles, or games of Fortnite. It's a common sight, one you wouldn't have paid much attention to a few weeks ago, but now it seems so unnervingly quaint. Why would they still be spending their time like this if they were immortal? The waiter unlocks an unassuming door at the end of the room and lets me inside. The two of us swiftly make our way through a labyrinth of sterile gray corridors, taking confusing twists and turns. Feels like I'm traveling into a different world, crossing one invisible portal after another. Ooh, it's pretty in here. Eventually, we reach our destination. My guide motions me to enter a dark room with a lone source of pale light, a computer screen in the distance, beckoning me to come closer. As I do, I hear the door shutting behind me and a short chuckle echoing behind it. Is this the place? Nothing else to do but sit on a chair in front of the computer. The monitor displays a modern chat application. A cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field of the middle of the screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After a brief consideration, I type in. Alright, choices are my name, a random string of characters, or something goofy. So, I think I'm just going to put my name in. Muse. Better play it straight and prove that I have nothing to hide as a gesture of goodwill. After a few seconds, the chat window opens and messages start appearing on the screen in quick succession. Hostage executioner. Oh my god, okay. Goodness, that was a lot. Okay. Hostage executioner says, just to be clear, I don't have a wank rag. Great. Cult of Luna says, LMAO. Thirst victim says, oh for sure. Hostage executioner. No, for real. Cult of Luna. LMAO was meant for Jerry, of course. Jesse Hooker says, not much longer. Bastardo says, yeah, Jerry is the chat MVP. Hostage Executioner says, I mean, I've admitted to far worse things on here. Sexy Bozo says, God, I'm so horny. Hostage Executioner says, not sure why I'd have a need to lie about this one. Cult of Luna, oh my god, literally, who cares? Turtle Guy, you and me both, Bozo. Heart's Filthy Lesson says, wait, who is Muse? Jesse Hooker, Muse. Hopeful, no one, no idea. Thirst Victim, a new user, wasn't here a second before. Hostage Executioner, what the hell? Was anyone informed? Hopeful, no one. No, no announcement. I know. I wasn't. Heart's Filthy Lesson says, I know I wasn't. Cult of Luna, at Muse, identify yourself within 2 minutes or get banned. Chat goes silent. Everyone's seemingly waiting for me to say something before proceeding. This must be a close-knit group. Better say something before they kick me out. So choices is I'm looking for hope. Who are you people? I'm a vampire. I'm not saying I'm a vampire. What the fuck? So, I think the only choice is hope, yeah. Looking for hope. Is she here? Who the fuck are you? Oh god. Cool, 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 cool. That blew up in my face. Who the fuck are you? This was meant to be a safe channel investigating what went wrong. How did they even get in here? Stay calm. Can you get their location, Jerry? LOL. Yeah, sure. That's our Jerry. Gonna DM it to anyone interested. Oh boy, now you're in trouble. Yeah, you're gonna regret, dumbass, the day you tried to spy on us. I'm not trying to spy. I don't know if I can, like, mentally dominate a computer, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Oh god. My blood fires up. Ancient power starts coursing through my veins, fingers tapping the keyboard buttons on my own. They laugh, in general. Cool, cool, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Yikes. This meeting didn't go well. I've come to the wrong chat room. A ridiculous whisper rings out next to my ear, and the grip under my head gets even tighter. I start struggling, but even with my newfound supernatural strength, you're having trouble breaking out. This isn't a normal human I'm dealing with. Last words. Um, so, good luck, I can't die. She knows that. Chat room sucks ass. Sophie sent me here to die. But Sophie sent me here. So I try to plead. Sophie sent me here. Langley? The hand holding my chin shifts its position slightly. Don't struggle, or I'll break your windpipe. Or my phone. Which would end even worse for you. Sounds of a camera shutter and a light flashing. Did they just take some selfies with me? Alright, that's enough fun. I'm letting you go. We can have a talk. Don't do anything stupid, Miss Intruder. Pretty please. The mysterious assailant loosens their grip and gently pushes me away. I quickly turn to take a good look at them. Let me just finish this. It's a pale, blonde woman in her 20s, giving me slightly judgmental looks while rapidly tapping away at her phone screen. First, I notice her outrageous outfit, seemingly thrown together from random thrift store finds. Then I take note of her tattoos, a sprawling tapestry of odd patterns and designs covering every visible part of her body. At first glance, it all seems aimless, but it has a consistent sense of style upon closer inspection. Her eyes focus on me for a second. Gave you a scare, huh? Sorry. That's just what you get for entertaining a lady, or, I'm sorry, that's just what you get for entering a lady's haven without her permission. And she's back to her phone. With her relatively small build, it's hard to believe that you had trouble overpowering her physically. But then again, nothing is what it seems when it comes to the undead. And even compared to the vampires that I've met so far, she comes off as an eccentric, curious presence. She shoots me another glance, noticing you're still cautious of her. Calm yourself, girl. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It's just, feels stupid saying it out loud. Vibe check. I love that I have 3 separate choices for vibe check. Vibe check? Question mark? Vibe check. Vibe check? I go with middle. Vibe check. Yeah. I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet, and in a dangerous situation, I'd say I've got a pretty good idea of who you really are. By the way, if you're here, you've probably heard of me, so I went ahead and skipped the pleasantries. But come to think of it, I might have skipped too many of the pleasantries. Shit. Yeah, she definitely fits the description that we were given by Sophie. I still can't believe you got so mad online. You actually tried to use your powers on people talking trash about you. From who knows where, Jesus. But I kind of respect that dedication. It's amusing. Anyway, don't worry about the chat. It was all a game to us. No hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later. On the monitor, the chatter continues normally. Your visit is like yesterday's news, no longer relevant to anything. Oh, I'm sorry, Turtle. Oh, we were on the same wavelength. I did choose the middle. But, look, if we're gonna talk about you, you should have something to say too. What are you doing here? About time, she asked. Note to self, she really loves the sound of her own voice. So, I have the choices of Sophie Langley sent me, I'm building a coterie, be my friend. I need help. So, I already told her that Sophie sent me. I mean, I could just straight up ask her to be my friend, because, I must have passed the vibe check. I need help. I do need help, but we all need help. I don't have much ground to stand on at this time. So, maybe just play it straight. We're gonna play it straight this time. I'm looking for people to join my coterie. Coterie? Been there, done that. Not interested. Unless... She takes a closer look at me, and then her eyes go wide. Wait. Shit. Are you the new Langley plaything? Word seems to be getting around fast. Of course you are. It's obvious the second Langley got her hands on a new servant, she started building a network. Your admissions tell me that could really come in handy, but Langley, that's a risky game. This kind of ambition attracts too much attention. Oh, piss off. Oh, fucking Kara. She seems to be having a spirited argument with herself. Only parts of it audible. Is it just me? Or do her facial expressions and body language change a bit between one sentence and the other? Before I make certain it's not just my eyes playing tricks on me, she focuses half of her attention back on me. The other half, of course, is still obsessed with her phone. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not interested in, cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand me, and I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before you came here, I propose a little game. Hope absent-mindedly spins her phone in her hand, considering how to put her thoughts into words, and then she approaches a switch on the wall and flicks it. Neon lights flare up, illuminating the room, and I take a look around. The room is certainly unique. It looks like a butcher's room, with purpose to be a living space. The modern computer in front of me is in stark contrast to the ominous industrial walls. At the back, there is an overwrought bed covered in velvet with meat hooks hanging above it. On top of the bed sheets, I notice what seem to be pieces of elaborate S&M equipment and a camera. Wait a minute. You want my help? Moderate my cam show. Cam show? My eyebrows twitch involuntarily. This is definitely not the kind of request I expected. She notices my confusion. Take it or leave it, buddy. You just became a kindred, but you want to become my partner in crime? Show me you can handle yourself while watching my back in an everyday environment. She's dead-ass serious. The show starts in 10 minutes. If you think yourself better than this, walk out the door right now. Don't hold a grudge. I got better things to do. As if to prove it, she looks at something displayed on her phone and cracks a brief grin. Another reply typed down with an absurd speed. Tap, 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 tap. 9 minutes. It's now or never. Show moderator. Risk of violating the masquerade. High consent warnings. Oh, yes. So, do you take the job? Fuck it. Why the hell not? Why the hell not? Hope brightens up, and her smile looks surprisingly sincere. Excellent. I promise you might find this interesting in more ways than one. All right, give me a second. She spends a minute setting up the computer you used before, and then urges me to sit down. The explanation of the moderator's functionalities is simple. It boils down to ignoring anyone who doesn't disrupt the chat, banning anyone who does, and kicking anyone who's causing minor trouble. 5 minutes later, she's already online, sitting on her bed in a provocative pose. Is it a sex show? Is it? Her voice, previously hushed, rings out with full force. How are you doing tonight, hopefuls? I peek at the chat. We're not worthy. Fucking hey, Angel. Hell yeah, time to fuck. I'm ignoring. Everything's good. Tempted to try out the kick and ban prompts as soon as possible, but obviously I won't punish someone for a little dirty talk. Thank you! Today's show is quite special. Please welcome our new moderator, Muse. And we get a series of laughs from Turtle Guy as an LMAO. Oh, and let's see if Bastardo says, LMAO, sorry for sentencing you to death earlier. At least the community here seems to be a bit more welcoming this time. Looks like this place has an established hazing ritual. Or maybe they and Hope came up with one specifically for me. Who knows? I decide to stay silent. Eventually, people stop riffing on me and focus entirely on the star of the show. Alright, let's start this one with a bang, shall we? Oh boy, she's gonna do it! So, this is where the strip show starts? I raise my head, curious about what kind of performance she's going for. First, she opens her mouth and reveals her retractable fangs in front of the camera. Right off the bat, the online audience is treated to a sight of her wholly human set of teeth turning into a monster's maw. The image is both revolting and fascinating. She raises her left wrist for everyone to see, and then bites. The fangs immediately turn her arm into a horrifying, gory mess. It's unclear if she used them to slash or bite, but one thing is for sure. No ordinary human could cause such damage. If an ordinary human suffered such a wound, you'd expect a geyser of blood to appear too, but it doesn't. Hope's technically a corpse, so it's impossible. She flashes a monstrous smile and starts smearing VtM all over her hand to maximize the impact of the violent image, and then she starts drinking it up. She makes it a point to make the sight as gruesome as possible, looking like a hyena feasting on a corpse. The contrast of her behavior with her look of an Instagram model is stunning. When she's done, she reveals her wrist to the camera for the last time. She starts making theatrical gestures with her right hand as the wound begins to mend. Shortly after, the wound is gone. It's like a magician's trick. Her left hand looks like nothing bad ever happened to it. Here's an appetizer. First blood. Let's kick off the show. While I'm wondering what the hell is going on, Hope catches a glimpse of my bewildered face and turns in my direction. How is that for an opening? she says. So, choices are, this is not a sex show? You're shooting snuff? Are you hurt? She's clearly not hurt. We know she's shooting. Yeah, she's shooting snuff. This isn't a sex show? I asked. Sex? What? Are you counting on me getting naked in front of you or something? Oh, honey, we've just met each other. You expected a strip show, yeah? Sorry to disappoint. This is more like, live stream digital art. The erotic subtext is there, of course. I peek at the chat. They're going ape shit. Alright, chat looks okay. But eroticism is not the key here. It's vampirism. It's a new frontier. A living art installation. In the early 90s, the Japanese artist kept producing these videotapes with beautiful women committing gory harakiri. Those are an inspiration. She bares her fangs again in a devious grin. But I've no interest in auto-destruction or turning myself into a victim. This is a celebration of a body I love, not self-inflicted punishment. The audience came here to marvel at a beautiful vampire and her awe-inspiring powers. Mending wounds is just one of these powers. The people watching can pay to see more. Oh, and don't worry, the only things the audience can see and hear are the things I allow them to. We can talk freely. Just remember to moderate the chat, will you? High risk of violating the masquerade? What a fucking joke. She's blatantly breaching it in front of anonymous viewers. Still speechless, I turn my attention to the screen. Oh my god, I should have used a different name. Oh my fucking god. I put my name into the chat, just my straight up bare ass name. Oh god. Alright, let's see. Pay for the next chat. Let's see what the chat says. Feeling generous. Haven't planned your next tattoo yet. Pay for the next attraction. You like a pink marshmallow covered in raspberry sauce? Ew. Just letting you know you're based. Okay. Masochist Sama, the last one's not. I don't feel like there's anything that I need to do. Alright. So, we did good. We did good. We moderated the chat well. Alright. A special message appears in the chat log claiming somebody has successfully sponsored the first goal of the show. Hope smiles and picks up a bag of blood from underneath the bed. It must have been retrieved from a blood bank. She showcases the label to the camera for everyone to see. Alright. Hope pours all the contents of the bag into her throat. I have no doubt that it's real blood, but wonder why the viewers would be so satisfied with something that's so easy to fake. Don't worry, it pays well enough. I don't even bother to tell her that that's not what I'm concerned about. Safe to assume she knows that already. So, what do you know about Kindred and the internet? Have they told you anything yet? She asks. While she's waiting for someone to sponsor her next vampiric feat, she decides to start a new conversation. So, choices are, is this the right time? Is there a vampire internet? And no, nothing. Because no one's told me shit. So let's go with no, nothing. No, nothing. Well, makes sense. It's not the first thing you teach to a fledgling. See, some of us used to experiment with our own secure networks. We tried to build our own information hubs, social networks, everything. She's still working the phone in one hand while looking for something under the bed with the other. On how many things can she concentrate at one time exactly? Then one day, the NSA got in. Turns out, elders never really got the hang of proper security practices, or the sigils they used to smear on their screens didn't actually work as advertised. Then, of course, all the other three-lettered intelligence agencies in the world got the intel, and a lot of them decided bloodsuckers are the perfect new enemies for our post 9/11 times. The Second Inquisition came into being. Ever heard of it? A lot of our kind died just because they were too present online. Right now, the remains of our old network serve as government honeypots, kept alive to attract fledglings and hunt them down. You post certain keywords on Twitter or Facebook, you get tagged for investigation. You fit certain patterns, you get tagged for investigation. So there is a certain thrill in becoming an online presence without attracting attention from the authorities. She stretches on the bed. I hope you are still monitoring the chat. Of course not. You're not as good at dividing your attention as she is. I correct my mistake and I check those most recent messages. Let's see. Is she talking to somebody? Can't wait for the real thing to start. All right, we're gonna kick Hope has crabs and gonorrhea. That's the appropriate thing, right? Moderator, kick, or ban? What's the appropriate choice here? Oh, ignore or ban. You give the guy a kick. Get yourself a normal nickname, douchebag. After 10 seconds, he's back with the same handle. Time for a decision. Ignore or ban. We go banning. This kind of nickname only suggests trouble. I get rid of them permanently. Good job, she says. She's keeping close tabs. Anyway, yeah. When the Nosferatu admitted to the Camarilla that their network got compromised, the elders went batshit. Internet communications became strictly forbidden. There were executions and everything. A lot of people who use social media to secretly contact their mortal families and lovers got offed. That goes without saying. But if you weren't careful, even the most innocent web usage could result in being punished with final death. Thanks to user Dick Steele, the next goal has just gotten successfully funded. Alright. Let's go. Vanishing Act. Dehumanize yourself and face the bloodshed. I don't know what that last one means. She raises her hand. 3 fingers up. 2 fingers up. 1 finger up. Countdown ends and she immediately disappears from the screen like a ghost. I can still see her on the bed, but the live feed indicates that there's nobody there. When I deeply focus on the digital image, I swear I can make out some unusual glitching where her silhouette should be, but it could very well be just a placebo. You ready for this? Three, two, one. Flash of the camera. The instant she reappears on the screen, she takes a selfie, sticking her tongue out in a provocative manner. The chat room explodes in cheers again. She is their vampire queen. I briefly wonder about her being glued to the screen. Is this the fantasy that everyone is here for? A girl showing off cheap magic tricks while lazily browsing her social media? I realize I'm way out of my depth here. Meanwhile, Hope decides to continue her lecture. Those are some wild times, especially in New York. While most of them have no clue as to our real nature, a lot of clandestine organizations have classified us as national threats. And since this is where the towers fell, the agencies are very much present around here, looking for easy PR victories. The last SA raid here was just a few days ago, and it was a big one. Stirred up the hornet's nest something fierce. But although it's 2019, New York is ruled by someone who got an embrace before World fucking War II, and the cam is, well, whole, got really spooked and swore off the internet. Of course, they're not dumb and understand that you can't really coexist with modern kind without the internet. It's a gray zone right now, like piracy. Technically frowned upon, but let the one without sin cast first stone and all that. The SI is the real threat, no joke, but in many senses, the darkest place is right underneath the candle. I take another look at the screen. Alright, let's see. We want blood. Oh, fuck Muse. Yay. Glad I'm getting love. How about some bat stuff? Can you do some bat stuff? Can you show us next time? Jesse Hooker, it's been a long, hard day. Please give me a shout out. A familiar nickname pops up. With this bullshit again. So we're gonna try and kick them because they're just hurgle-urgle-urgling. I give the guy a kick for spamming the chat. The message is deleted so fast, Hope might not have even noticed. A duty carried out well. I'm surprised to feel an inkling of pride. Oh yeah, fun fact about being a vampire. We can sweat and pee if we exert ourselves really hard. Some of us can even orgasm. We can even cry, but only tears of blood. It's something I always dreamed of doing when I was 14, so romantic, and it drives them crazy. As proof of her words, a scarlet tear starts running down her face. The chat goes wild. This seems to be exactly the kind of thing they've been waiting for. Ugh. So, top of the chat's doing okay. Beautiful. Hope your turtle guy says, hope your tortured soul finds some calm eventually. Oh, that's very goth. Fuck man says, can you imagine USA assembling a blood-sucking squad that would just cruise by the border and suck blood out of any illegal they found? The very thought gives me the biggest boner. I hate that more than anything. I can't do anything about it because yeah, kind of just have to let that one go. I'm not sure if the guy is just satirizing a certain type of poster, so I give him a pass. However, the chat quickly makes it known here that he's a repeat offender. Oh god. Oh god. Alright. Everyone's clowning me again because I fucked it up. I guess I should have just, like... I should have booped the racist on the snoot. I'm glad this game is woke enough to tell me that I should have booped the racist on the snoot immediately. Just to be clear, you realize that what we're doing here is a blatant breach of the masquerade, right? I honestly expected you to leave or inform somebody by now, but you haven't, have you? I try to focus on the chat. A familiar nickname is displayed on the screen. We're doing a lot here. We're gonna ban this asshole. Looks like Mr. Masochist needs a longer break. I ban him. I hear Hope's voice. Good job handling that guy. Great. Nothing else works out. Seems like I fit this job at the very least. In any case, the last goal has just been funded. It's time for the great finale. This is what you've all been waiting for, right? Everybody's in it. She gets closer to the camera, letting her face fill the frame of the live feed. Her mesmerizing eyes are focused purely on the viewers. You wanted blood? Come out into the streets, claw out your neighbor's throat, slash their veins, and drink up. Hope's presence becomes absolutely horrifying, and it influences the chat in some incomprehensible way. Everyone starts typing like they're possessed. Liberate yourself from the shackles of ordinary mortality. Make them scream. Feel the warmth of their entrails. What the hell is she doing? What have I gotten myself into? Transcend your bodies. Release the message of hope into the world. She jerks violently for a second and then falls down on the bed like a marionette that has just had its string severed. She exhales loudly a few times and laughs. And when she does, the room goes dark again. Alright, that's enough. Instead of continuing, she does something with her phone. The stream ends, and the chat instantly becomes dead quiet. Let me take over. The atmosphere in the room has completely changed. She's already put herself together and stood up. And now she's walking towards me. What the fuck just happened? Guess the show's over. Everyone relax and go home. Aw, and I was almost ready to come, bros. Hostage, I swear on my father's grave, one day I'll find you and kick the ever-living shit out of you. After every line she delivers, she changes her voice, the way she puts her lips together, and even the way she moves. You've caught glimpses of her acting this way, but only now have I started to figure it out. Oh my god. She's been talking to herself this whole time, I think. Wait a minute. Does that mean I'm immortal? I'm bored. I'm separated from most vampires in the city by a generational chasm. And I'm so goddamn lonely. The internet used to be my only friend. Years ago, I started researching tulipas, collective consciousnesses. All the mumbo-jumbo at the intersection of psychology and spirituality, and I decided to experiment. The show was fake. A few years later, I was an Instagram fashionista, a successful erotic model, a vital part of pop culture commentariat, a viral shitposter, a cryptocurrency expert. All of my internet selves started to signal boost each other, paving the way for new ones. I became a one-woman empire, surrounded by legions of psychophans. The entire chat was fake. Some may think of it as a dissociative identity disorder, but that's bullshit. Everyone has online alter egos. They buried. I just resurrected them, gave birth to new ones, and let them crossfeed. Her constant tapping on the phone, even during the show, somehow she is capable of impersonating an entire chat room. I don't even have a self that could disassociate or be mentally ill. I'm a host, a living database. I live because I find it fun to be an information conduit, to process trends and support the ones I deem worthy. There was no masquerade violation. She was showing off her skills all along. She put me into a world of pure fiction, the same way she was testing. She attacked me from the back. Damn, she's real good at this. Of course, you can just ignore what I'm saying and decide I'm just another deranged Malkavian. But hey, annihilation of the self is the only way to survive in the 21st century. And if there ever was an era that demanded images of beautiful people transcending beyond humanity and inspiring others to do the same, it's this one. Although, for now, because of Masquerade, my audience is quite limited. Speaking of, you want to be the star of my next movie? I'm just gonna dot it, y'all. Dot. Need some time to mull it over. Sure. No, sorry to disappoint. But yeah, your test is over. Now the question is, do I want to work with you? She puts away her phone for the first time since I met her and gives me a good, hard look. Vibe check, Vivo. Guess I can give it a shot. Yeah, you're not that dumb. You're not that boring. And you're kind of cute. Oh, she thinks I'm cute. Don't worry. No more modding jobs. Mods get attached. And that's always bad news. She grabs my arm and starts leading me out of her room. I put you through enough shit. Next time I'll let you in on a little job I'm doing. We'll hit the streets and you'll see why Sophie told you to contact me. She leads me through the labyrinth of gray corridors. It's a different route than the one that I took to get in. This city is so much more than what the elites consider real. Stick with me and I'll guide you to places the Camarilla elders couldn't reach in 100 years. She leads me out of the building, into the back alleys. Even if someone else rules these streets, we will rule the information highways. This is the power of hope. She lets out a theatrical laugh and disappears. I don't even notice when she leaves me alone, but I assume everything went as well as it could. A new ally. The power of hope. Alright, y'all. That is where we are gonna be ending the stream for the night. I'll probably be back tomorrow during the day, maybe with some Fortnite with my kid, and then we'll be streaming some more Vampire Intrigue story time tomorrow night. So thank everybody. I thank y'all from the bottom of my heart for coming out and supporting me tonight and helping me on my path to affiliate. And I can't express how much that means to me. And y'all are truly the best. So thank y'all so much for showing me love today. And I appreciate you all. And I'll see you again soon. Good night.